What's up, guys? It's your boy Aaron. I hope you are having a good day today in the whole entire world or whatever. Today is January 14th, and I just want to give a little brief highlight or reaction to yesterday's game, which was the New York Knicks versus the Brooklyn Nets. Very humiliating loss, and also despite the fact that the Brooklyn Nets have just traded possibilities, according to Woj, that James Harden got traded to Brooklyn from Houston, and also Chris Levert, uh, Levert and Jared Allen has also gotten traded to Indiana and Cleveland, so that makes it a four trade. So yeah, but that's all in the trade. That's what's going on currently right now. We don't know if it's official. If it is official, um, congratulations for Brooklyn. They anyways got the win last night. But I just want to give my take on last night's loss. I almost said win there, but we got the L, so it kind of sucks. Um, we didn't come out defensively. Um, on the court. We couldn't get any stops, any kind of penetration moves. And it wasn't, you know what? Why am I saying that word? It wasn't penetration moves, but it was despite the fact that you saw lack of defense, very lack of defense. RJ Barrett's shot was just consistently sloppy, um, which was unexpected. Um, I mean, we all thought that probably this would be probably the game of the W, but it wasn't. It wasn't. And you know what? Let me just tell you this. I mean, even though Julius Randle got 30 points yesterday, 30 exactly, um, against Brooklyn, that that still doesn't change the fact that we're doing as well. I mean, we're 5-7, 5-6, I believe. So but what I'm trying to say here is that we got to do something. And listen, I know that um, Tom has got something on his mind to do something about this team, but we've just got to just change what we've got to do. Um, so you know, um, but yeah, yeah. So for Julius, he had like what 30 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. For RJ, it was consistent. I'm not saying that he was terrible, but he only shot 20 points. So, was it good? Yes. Was it amazing? No, because he also had a couple of rebounds and a couple of assists. It wasn't an amazing night for him, but it was just good. It was all right. Um, you know, and let me just say something for a couple of minutes about the media and how ESPN is talking about us very consistently, including Max Kellerman, including Michael Rapport. All these guys, they don't know what they're talking about in terms of how we're doing as a team. We're not that team that once what we used to be in 2012 and 13. That was like what 7 years ago, 6 years ago. I'm not good at math. But when you talk about how good we are back then and today, it's not the same. When you think about today, you look about the best talent. You look at Giannis Antetokounmpo. You look at players like LeBron. You look at players like Kevin Durant, who just defeated us last night with I think 20 points, 50. I don't know how many points he had last night, but you look at players like that, and what you see in players like that and going to one of the top teams is that they're good and they have a plan. The team has the franchise has a plan of what they want to do. But whenever they look at us, they're like, New York doesn't know what the fuck they want. Excuse my language, but we do know what we want. We want the culture to come back in New York, and it takes time. Um, and I don't think that New Yorkers who root for Brooklyn understand that. Who were Knicks fans but just jumped on Brooklyn. Listen, I'm not saying that Brooklyn is the best team, but there's no way, in my opinion, that they're going to win a championship. I'm telling you. In my opinion, James Harden, if he does end up with Brooklyn and it's official, the they signed it, whatever. My opinion to this is that it's going to be like last year when Russell Westbrook got traded to Houston. It's going to be the same exact thing. James Harden is going to hate it. He's going to want his own team controlled and his way because he's a he's a star. He is an all-star. He knows how to um, take that initiative of being captain, or not captain, but being a leader, you know. And everyone here in New York or in Brooklyn, they're like, you know, we believe in what Kevin Durant and Kyrie are giving us. They're gonna lead us to that. Okay, but let me ask you this: you have Steve Nash. Steve Nash. Let me just clarify this before I hop on back to last night's game. Steve Nash hasn't won a championship yet again. He has a couple of coaches. Well, he has a couple of one of his former teammates and one of his former coaches assisting him. But is that gonna help him this year to win a championship? I don't think so. I'm not saying that he'll never win a championship with Brooklyn. Maybe this year could be the year. Maybe next year could be the year. But what I'm trying to say is that you make a trade like this that happens literally yesterday. It's just it doesn't really click. It doesn't really ring a bell. You know, I mean, I was just in shock the moment that I heard this, because I'm watching the news and you know, when I mention about the news, I'm mentioning about political wise and what's going on and this and that. And the next thing you know, I got on my phone that James Harden gets traded out of nowhere. So as I'm watching the whole impeachment thing and what's going on here and what we're going through, I get this notification on my phone from what was it, ESPN? James Harden gets traded, and this is Woj. This is Woj, one of the top, uh, the top NBA senior insiders, who is telling us that James Harden got traded, but it's not finalized yet. It's not finalized that he got in. So we're still not knowing if this is a blockbuster trade or not. So, but let me hop back into yesterday's game, which I did mention about our defense and offensively. We just weren't playing as good. And going through next game against Cleveland, which Jared Allen is going to, who did play in Brooklyn. Um, so we didn't play good last night, but I'll tell you what we did do. We almost came back at that 2-minute mark, but it wasn't enough. It really wasn't. And am I upset? No, but it's it's a matter of fact that when you think about, okay, how can we beat a team like the Brooklyn Nets, like I'm just bringing up teams like the Lakers, like the Clippers, like any other, you know, Heck, a couple of games ago in the beginning of the season, we beat a former first place team, which was Milwaukee. They were in first in the East last year, you know, and we weren't expecting that win. Um, Cause then we got the three straight wins. So but yeah. Uh, I mean, let me tell you this: if R.J. Barrett um, plays like this um, in a very sloppy way, or not sloppy. I said sloppy too many times, but in a very not aggressive way from three, or passing that ball or penetrating like that. I don't think he should be in the starting lineup. And I'm not saying that he shouldn't be. Like, oh my God, he's not playing so good, and we should take him out. No, I'm just saying for maybe a couple of games. Maybe something's wrong with him. I don't know. Maybe we should put in um, Austin Rivers. Last night I told myself maybe we should put Alfred Payton. Who else? Knox. Knox at the two. Austin at the three. Norins at the four. And Mitch at the five. But when you think about it, it doesn't really make sense, right? So I'm asking myself, is Norins Noel a bench player? Does he come out when Mitch sits down? Is that what's going on? Because yesterday, DeAndre Jordan was just killing us. Um, you know? I mean, now they don't have Jared Allen, so it's like he is basically the big ass center, which we weren't expecting of, like, okay, holy shit. And you're watching Mitch, who is like 23 years old, basically my age, in the NBA, and he's just his brain is kind of like, okay, well, now I need help, you know? And everyone else, I understand, before Taj Gibson came, they were like, okay, maybe Tyson Chandler could come back to the Knicks. Tyson Chandler, let me tell you this, I would agree, but I'm at that point where I would want to say I agree to disagree. The reasoning of why is because Tyson Chandler is a vet, like a veteran, and he's probably like Amari Stoudemire's age. So I'm not expecting from Tyson Chandler, even if he would get signed into the Knicks, it would kind of be the same. The reason why I think that Taj Gibson is a good sign is because, first of all, last year he kind of helped his team a little bit, and also Tom Thibodeau knows Taj Gibson yet again. They play like Taj Gibson has played for Tom Thibodeau back in Chicago with Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah, so he knows what Tom wants. And when you think about it, Tom Tom Thibodeau was basically the assistant coach here in New York in 1996 to 2006. So basically, he was the head coach. Well, he wasn't the head coach, but he was the assistant head coach back at the time in 1996 when we were actually good with Patrick Ewing, with um, John Sparks, with Larry Johnson, with the Charles Pearwell, all of these, like, Hall of, like, some you know what I mean, Hall of Fame, yeah, sure. So basically, he was there when Patrick Ewing was the highlight of New York, and he knows the media. And I've said this multiple of times on my channel, and I'm saying it again. But he knows New York. He knows what to fix and what we need to get better on. Um, and I believe it's going to take some time. We, we just cannot rush. I don't care of what Max Kellerman says. As far as I'm concerned, he could laugh at us at first take and all that stuff. But at the same time, what he doesn't understand and what Michael Rapport doesn't understand is that they have, excuse my language, but fucking Steve Nash. I'm not saying that Steve Nash is not the best option for Brooklyn, but he does have a good front office crew, which he does have Amar Stoudemire, who played for Israel last year in Maccabi Fox Tel Aviv. He has Mike D'Antoni, who also coached with us a couple of years ago, or actually many years ago, in 2008 to maybe like 2012. Um, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So when you think about it, he's not the worst, hiring as a head coach for the Brooklyn Nets, but there is no way by far that he's gonna win a championship this year. Um, I mean, the math makes totally sense that now James Harden will want the ball, and Kevin Durant and James are just gonna go clashing together, and we're we're like the Knicks, we're still being laughed at. We're basically the laughing stock of New York, and we're just being like, oh yeah, New York is just not that place that it used to be, and this and that. No, like what 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 do you think? So it's like we we are one of the best teams in New York. Not I want to say extremely, but in terms of fan base, we are. You know, when did Brooklyn have a good fan base? You know when they were actually in New Jersey and they went up against Kobe in 2000 and what 2 3 I believe it was 2. They came here like I'm currently now in New Jersey, so basically when they were here in New Jersey at the Prudential Center versus Kobe Bryant and Shaq, that was the last time they were good. That was the last time that they had a good fan base with Richard Jefferson, with all these guys. And then, little by little, as years went by, they had Deron Williams, they had Ramen Lopez, not Robin, not Robin, but his brother Brooke Lopez. And the year just gone by and by and by. And then they just went to Barclays. And the story goes on and on and on. We all know the history. But what I'm trying to say is that to put this as an end and to clear it up, is that last night wasn't our game. It just wasn't. It clearly wasn't, and I'm expecting more from us. And I believe that we're playing tomorrow against Cleveland, so hopefully we'll get that W. I really don't want to get this L because um, it to me it doesn't make sense, and I put 100% trust into Tom. Um, I put 100% into Tom. um, Leon Rose, who's our new president, um, you know, just the list, like even Scott Perry, even though we don't even hear from him in the news as often, but I trust in our front to back office. You know, I mean that's basically about it. So you know, but anyways, that's what I have to say about this game. I know that I went off topic and non-topic about the Knicks and the game yesterday, but that's all I have to say about yesterday's game. It was kind of mixed with the whole tradings and all that. So I kind of went from one subject to another. But let me just finish by saying tomorrow must be a win. It just must be. Um, you know, and even if we don't, I still trust in Tom because first of all, he has been here before as an assistant coach, and um, we We basically have a good front office, which we have Mike Woodson, who is a former head coach here in New York, back in 2012 to 2013, which was 7 years ago, which is kind of ridiculous. But you know what? I think he could also help Tom, you know, get some advice for those rookies and the second year, the young guys, and also give some tips about some things. I mean, if when you think about some players like Austin and all of these guys, think about it. Austin is just like what he has been bringing with like what he has been bringing with us for the last couple of weeks was amazing. L's no like wins losses. He keeps on telling the media, "Don't worry, we're gonna get there, and we're gonna try." You know, he said it in on media day. No one comes to New York because they want to go to a good franchise. They want to go to a franchise that has a plan of what they want. We are one of them, but no one wants to come to us because first of all, we are a laughing stock, and the list goes on and on because I just said it before. So when you hear that and what Austin Rivers has to say, he's basically right. I don't want to go on and on and on, but I mean, let, you know, all I gotta say is just let's get the W tomorrow. That's it. That's it. Hopefully, Coach Tom will guide us. So, you know. But anyways, guys, I hope you have a nice day, a good day, um, wherever you are located in, whether you're in the States, different country, and yeah. Anyways, guys, peace.